attention into that, and that's also why it took a little bit longer to release them. Adam will say something about the videos. I mean, Adam and I have been working together. I did some soundtrack for the opening. I edited all the videos, and Adam and both we did the abstracts for the talks and an intro and outro. So he will say something more about that. So your participation is really appreciated. I think one of the things that we really try to achieve is that you all chip in, any questions you have or any help you might need or any suggestions that you have, you can all post on the community platform, community.phaidra.org. Maybe you can paste that in, Eva. So that would be really cool. So I think that's it for me, for the community side for 2025. For 2026, I really see that I've been talking to Padua for like half an hour or three quarters of an hour. And I also see that doing these kind of things, just having a one-on-one or one with many person conversation on what's going on, outside of that we use Phaidra as a repository or all the technical stuff. Then with the conversation I had with Padua, there were like 4 or 5 things that we came up with that we can use for future community calls. So that's really appreciated. I will be looking to connect with some other people, to Belgrade and some of the other projects. So that's something that I'm definitely going to do in 2026. There will be a closer cooperation also with Fedora. We are really talking to them, which which has a lot to do with the geopolitical situation, which is a really nice word here. And but we'll keep you up to date on that. Rory and I also have been working on the podcasts at Epistemicast. There's a number of people we would like to interview for a podcast for the coming year. So stay updated on that. I think there will be some really interesting podcasts coming out. The team has been working very hard on the websites, phaidra.org, and also on the PHAIDRA.com website. I had a sneak peek just earlier, and I thought it looked awesome. I don't know. So Adam will also say something about that, and maybe he will even show something. I'm not sure. Um, so as a last thing for 2026, I really saw that open education. So I've been talking to a number of people, and open education always comes up. So OER. We also have Claudia on the call. If Yeah, I see Claudia also. She will say something about the open education Barcamp that we had. I think the team itself also had a workshop on open education, and in talking to Padua, they also suggested that they have somebody in-house that knows a lot about OER, and not so much to do with Phaidra, but he will also gladly say something about that. So something I also suggested earlier is that something, if there's really a need for that, we can also do a separate community call only on open education, and maybe we can do some kind of roundtable on that. So that's really open for discussion. So I think that's it for me. I'm really looking forward to get the community, I wouldn't say on a higher level, but on a more interactive level for this year. So let's see where that goes. And just quickly, just to go over the agenda, after this we have Raman giving some info on the project. Adam will say something on the websites and the PhaidraCon videos. Eva will announce the really exciting PhaidraCon 2026. We have the OER by Claudia, and we have the Padua News and Showcase by Larissa and Maria Grazia. So there's a lot to come this coming hour. So Raman, I invite you to say a couple of words on the project.
Thank you, Ben. Yes, 18 years. Yes, that's quite a long time. That's quite a long time. And we also had some discussions lately about Phaidra in context also from the ARISNet. So this is a national project at the moment, where they host infrastructure. And also the question is, there is PHAIDRA something where we can be hosting there as an alternative, just not only the infrastructure of the university, because it goes more and more national. So we also have some more, we get more requests also on from the national side. That PHAIDRA should be used, or ask if they can use PHAIDRA. We are very happy to this, because this is, I think, the most important issue when you are talking about an open source project or any product at all, open source or not open source, that you see that people like it and people are using it. And we have now a really big and strong Austrian community, and we would also like to get more outreach also in other countries, to have really a big foundational user community. That's why we are also talking, or we have this connection with Fedora. That's also very important for us. And we will also host this year again in September the Fedora camp for Europe. So you see also this strong relationship of these foundational open source project where PHAIDRA is built on. It is really an important partner, and we want to bring them nearer to our community, but also the PHAIDRA community closer to the Fedora community, because both communities are very strong in thinking about how to do data management, how to preserve data long term. So Fedora was the first with the OCLL file layer. So this is a standard for repository that you can manage long-term sustainability in the way that if once the repository have to be migrated to another one, because you don't know what's happening in 20 years, in 50 years. So we are close to 20 years, so we are quite good. But I think in 100 years, I'm not sure if PHAIDRA will be the same as it today. And so to do this migration, to make it easy, that we don't lose our data, and this is our main goal, not to lose the data. We have there a standard, and now other repositories, a repository system will adopt this, so that you can then really have an exchange between the repositories at all. So, and Fedora was one of the first repositories to adopt this, and was also in the developing in the standard, had a key role. So in this sense, it's important. And the other thing, what's really nice and astonishing also from my side, is the open education sector. So that more and more institutions are now thinking about open education. And when I started with open education, we had this crazy idea: treat open education resources like research data. We didn't know if this would be a good idea or not, but over the whole project, and this we started the project also, I think 2016, the first time, also acquired. There was this idea born that we can bring these two topics, open education and research data management, together. This was an idea inside of this project. And we worked over the years closely on this, and we saw that this idea is quite a good idea, because it's the same way that also from the open educational perspective, to have that data safe, to have it in a good structure, that you understand what is the educational resource about, and a way with the repositories to share it easily. So all these fair data principles are also very important for open education. And this was a good match. And we see it now with all the open education stuff. And we had also Claudia was very active in organizing the Barcamp, Open Education Barcamp. This had been recently in Vienna. And I was sorry that I couldn't attend there because I had too many other meetings. But I heard from so many different colleagues from so many different people that it was really a great event. And we see this also growing here, and that repositories are important for this community. And I think PHAIDRA was one of the first. They saw this, that open education is also um, an area where repositories are important and can play an relevant role in this. So, and we go in this direction. So we have now many different perspectives. Our community grows. That's very good. We get more and more input. It's also for us in a stage where we have to think about growing is always good, but growing is always also a little bit challenging. And we think about how we can grow in a good way, that our repository will be in a stable and good way coming forward. And the sustainability of the data, the sustainability of PHAIDRA is our key focus. So, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Raman. That was a really interesting talk, and especially about, of course, about the community growth. That's really interesting. And I immediately thought growing is also painful sometimes. If growth can also bring some problems along with it. So everybody, if you have some questions, and also with regards to what Raman is saying, there is some room at the end of this talk to ask some questions. So please remember them for at the end. Next up, we have Adam about the new website and maybe a little bit about the PHAIDRACon videos. Go ahead, Adam.
Yes, the rumors are true. Me and Ben have been working on the videos, and some of them, not all of them yet, but some of them are already available for viewing on our YouTube channel. So I'm gonna paste the link in chat. It is PHAIDRA.org as one word. So some of them are already up there. You can go and watch them, relive the memories, the experience. This is the first session, and the other ones are coming in the next couple of weeks. I'm taking some time to write timestamps for all of them, so that the key sections can be easily findable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's quite a difference from what we did in earlier years. This time we put a lot of effort into making them discoverable, that everybody can click through the video. So it's worthwhile for sure.
Yes, we put plenty of time and effort into it. Also, they are going to be up on the new PHAIDRACon website as well. But Eva's going to talk about that afterwards. So that's it for the videos. Go and watch them. Subscribe to our channel if you want to catch the next ones also. And when it comes to the website, the PHAIDRA.org website, we're also working on that. And recently we have put together a team of interns who are going to help us with the web development. And our plan right now is to roll these updates out as like to have 2 iterations. First is going to be some little tweaks and usability changes, and then the second one is going to add new content as well. But for now, that this is still in development.
Cool. Anything you can say on the PHAIDRA website? I really like the whole new design.
There's a lot of new things. There is a new logo. There are some new colors. There are some new graphics. These will also come up during the PHAIDRACon as the conference itself as well. So I believe Eva can talk about this website. So she will show it to us hopefully.
Ah, cool. Right.
Okay. If you'd like, I can just jump straight in
Yeah,
and
cool. Go
show
ahead.
the website. All right, so today is the premiere of the website, so to say. Let me see whether or not I can share the screen.
There's a lot to celebrate today.
Yes, in time for the 18th birthday of PHAIDRA, we launched the new PHAIDRACon website. We will soon launch a new version of the PHAIDRA website itself as well, as Adam said, but it will take some more time. So for now, we are presenting the PHAIDRACon website. And before I say anything else about the website itself, I want to announce the date for the upcoming PHAIDRACon. We will meet, hopefully many of you, this October, the latest on October 29th, in Vienna, in the Sky Lounge of the university's economics building. And as is customary, as became customary in the last few years, we are also going to have a PHAIDRA partner meeting the day before, October 28th. And currently we're in the process of putting together an agenda. We already have a topic. I will give you a few minutes to note down the date. I can see that some people are still writing. And I can, to make it easier for you, I can just put the link in the chat. So the topic of this year's PHAIDRACon will be data sovereignty. Essentially, within the broader topic of digital sovereignty, we want to focus on data sovereignty and showcase the different aspects of it on an international level, on an institutional and an infrastructural level. And we are looking forward to also hearing your experience with this topic. So we would like to have quite a few showcases of our PHAIDRA partners that showcase this topic. How you maintain data sovereignty by using an open infrastructure, how you provide by using open licenses, etc. So there are many areas to this topic. You can read more about our ideas, about our initial ideas on the website. And there is also an area for you to submit proposals, so to say. So essentially, this is just a streamlined way for us to receive ideas on possible talks and for us to be able to keep better track of them. And now to the website. Most of the designs that you can see here, if not all of them, are the work of Adam. So a huge shout out and thank you to you, Adam. We have a new logo, which I think illustrates very good our goal with PHAIDRACon. Our goal is to have a dialogue, not only to have our goal is to see what you're doing with your Phaidra installations, what our Phaidra partners are doing. But beyond that, we want to create dialogue on topics that are important to us, which would be digital heritage, which would be open science, open source. So we want to create discourse. And the banner that Adam made for the website, for me personally, illustrates very good what Phaidra is. It's something it's something that ties together this modernity that we are living in, these aspects of our digital lives with knowledge and heritage that we all store in our repositories. Yes, so this is the main landing page with some general information on what PHAIDRACon is and why we are doing it, with our archive on the past PHAIDRACons. We also have a news section featuring, for example, the latest release of an Epistemicast episode, the news on today's community call, and also news on which Phaidra version is currently out. We have some quotes here and the announcement about PHAIDRACon. And if you scroll to the top again, you will see the information on PHAIDRACon 26 with the main description, and then later on, as soon as we have more information, the agenda. On both of these pages, you will have the opportunity to submit talks, so to say. And then there is a different section for registration, which you can already do regardless of a finalized agenda. And then there are other sections, the archive with the content of the past PHAIDRACons. And since we usually do recordings of our PHAIDRACons, we tried to include those recordings on the website as well. So, for example, in case of PHAIDRACon 25, I split the program into sections, and then after each section, you will find the corresponding videos. And the same is the case for the years before that. Yes, that's all from me. By the way, if you have, since this is a new relaunch of the website, if you have any feedback regarding usability or optics or content-wise, just feel free to contact us. You can get in touch with us via email, and in this section you will find a link to the community forum, which would also be a good platform to bring in feedback on this topic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. I think it looks so. I mean, we've come such a long way. I mean, with all the iterations that we already had from PHAIDRACon, this one looks so superb. I really love it. The whole kind of color scheme, and it's super professional. Well done, Adam and team.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's really a nice piece of work. Yeah, Eva, we discussed earlier about open education and the fact that you guys went to the bar camp. I think with the team we also had some kind of workshop. I think there will be a lot of talk about open education in this year, or hopefully in the community calls. Maybe we can do something separate also. But we have Claudia here also, who will do a recap of the OER Barcamp. And Claudia already said in the chat that she's really happy to cooperate on this topic, and she was actually the one that kind of requested also a separate category on the community platform. So I'm also really enthusiastic and looking forward to some interaction. So Claudia, please introduce yourself a bit, because I'm not sure a lot of people know you, and then tell us about the OER Barcamp.
Thank you, Ben. So hello from my side. I'm Claudia Hackl from the University of Vienna. And at University of Vienna, we provide shared OER services for all Austrian higher education institutions. And one service is a meta search engine that hovers on top on all of the repositories that already host OER in the Austrian higher education sector, which currently are around 10 repositories. We have these shared services to provide information and support to Austrian higher education institutions on how they can get on board with repositories and make their OER searchable, but also to have options for community members and for the community to get together and work together on different topics. And that's why we organized the OER Barcamp last week, and I brought to you a small recap on what happened, always now with this repository lens, because there were many people from many different backgrounds. And now I brought together a quick recap for you with the repository perspective. So just if you don't know the format Barcamp, it's an unconference format, and the idea is that participants bring and create the agenda themselves. So we have a topic and we have a motto, but the sessions are provided by the people that attend the Barcamp. And on the first day, everybody pitches their session idea. It could be a workshop, it could be a question they want to ask, or it could be also an input or a presentation they provided and they brought with them. And the idea is that we work together on creating the program. And we focus on the exchange and the practice and really on the community knowledge. So it's an in-person format as well. And the idea is that we don't really have spectators. Everybody is a contributor. And I brought some numbers with me as well. We had over 100 participants from 29 different Austrian higher education institutions, which was really cool to see everybody work together for 2 days of sessions, discussions, workshops, and the networking. And I also brought a quick look into our program. It was a German speaking event, so this is just a quick screenshot of our program that was provided. So you see we had several different sessions at the same time. So the idea is also with the Barcamp, you can switch anytime if you want to hear multiple sessions, then you can find your way through it. We also had some pre-organized workshops. These are the gray parts on the bottom on several different topics. And there were many sessions also on the repository or infrastructure topic. So the repositories, they're central, and there were many findings in these sessions, in the discussions and so on. They're not a side topic, and it came clear that they're a core infrastructure layer, and throughout the event, it was always about, even when we started with some different topic, maybe some didactical topic, we somehow came to the repositories. And so why are these central? For example, with the OER publication workflow, that is in practice, we need repositories to publicate our OER and share them. Also, the metadata quality is a topic that was covered quite a lot. Also, paired with the discoverability of OER and the reuse of the material, that can be helped through high metadata quality. We had lots of ideas and discussions on the institutional repository strategies. Rasta also held a session on more like an intro perspective for newcomers and newbies in the topic to get an idea what our repository is for. And also the integration of repositories into a teaching workflow, also with this meta search engine that we have in Austria, and how this can be integrated in learning management systems, for example. There has been a Moodle plugin developed that is integrating the meta search engine that is harvesting all the metadata from the OER repositories. And that was presented there as well. And also with the idea of the long-term preservation of the educational resources, That was a discussion that was ongoing in the event as well. And a role of the platforms like PHAIDRA in these OER ecosystems that we are in. And PHAIDRA Network was one of our cooperation partners, but it was really wonderful to see many, many different universities working together, but also different centers, different scientific projects, like the inclusion and accessibility of OER was also a topic, and also the repository management network in Austria was there, and held sessions to cover multiple different disciplines like media didactic, e-learning, the repository, also library science. So many different topics were addressed there. And what made it special in our view, now we are reviewing and receiving feedback, and we'll see probably next week or the week after, when we collected all the feedback, what it made it special to the participants. But in our perspective, we saw the strong community and ownership of content as well, that they're really willing to start the discussion and carry on the discussion. Also, these different levels and the high level of the openness and the exchange in the community that carried the event throughout the event. Also, there was a practical focus with tools and workflows and real use cases on how they can actually share OER, for example, at their Austrian higher education institution. And what I see in my daily work every day is the cross-institutional collaboration. I'm at the Center for Teaching and Learning at the University Library, and I'm really happy and I'm glad that we work so closely together, for example, with Raman's team and Eva's team, with the repository spectrum, but also with colleagues from the library and the media didactics and so on. And it was a really active participation in the documentation and the sharing. And to sum up some key themes now with this infrastructure OER repository lens, we had the OER production and the publishing workflows. Also the question on how you can start or maintain the repository infrastructure, and also the interoperability of these, licensing with the publication of the material and the legal frameworks and how they can be incorporated in the infrastructure was a topic. A really big topic was also the AI supported creation. And some also implications for repositories like metadata generation, something like this. Also institutional strategies for OER adoption and how they can integrate OER infrastructure in their systematic landscape at the higher education institutions. Sustainability of the content and the metadata standards that are always a really big topic in the community. And just to finish up, what we learned is that the repositories are an increasingly important part of the teaching workflows, and they should not be just set aside as archives, but as really like living archives. And archives, repositories that are in use and that are integrated deeply in the teaching workflow. That is a wish from the community. Also, the usability and integration, they're at the moment key barriers and opportunities as well. And as I said, metadata quality, that's always an issue, also with the quality of OER. So we're exploring that at the moment. And the educators, they need some kind of lightweight pathways to guide their way through all the different systems and infrastructures. And it was wonderful to see that the community exchange really helped to bridge from the technical perspective, the pedagogical perspectives and these gaps. Now we're working on the documentation of the practice and to see how we can move forward with what we learned. And if I'm correct, the last slide is that we're happy that we're moving to Linz next year. Linz, Johannes Kepler University is the location partner of the next OER Barcamp Austria. And let's see, we hope we can connect to the topics now that we are putting together, summarizing, documenting it, and then we can move forward next year and see what has changed or what other ideas we have that we may have not covered. So we're really excited what is to come. And yeah, thanks that I could share some insights. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask at the end or in the chat. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Claudia. Yeah, of course, you can also ask questions in the chat. So I think it's really remarkable, the Barcamp format. I've been to a couple of Barcamps, and I also found out, that the 2 days is so special because there are a lot of people that are a little bit shy the first day, and don't exactly know how they can contribute. And then you definitely see, and if you have a social event in the evening, everybody chats, and then, I mean, anything goes, you can do, like you said, a question, a workshop, or whatever you want to do. You can just ask who wants to join me. I even had the bar camps, technical bar camps, where we did yogic breathing, and somebody said, "Oh, you want to participate in this or that?" It's a really a community-based event, so that's really cool to see. Yeah, let's see what we can do with the coming community calls and the other stuff in the coming year. I really appreciate it. I thought it was a really nice talk, full of information. Thanks a lot. So, in the chats that I had with Padua a couple of weeks ago, and with the many ideas that we had, one of the things that we also discussed was this showcase that will be presented to you by Larissa and Maria Grazia. So, guys, take it away and tell us all about this interesting showcase about the Laura Lancieri collection.
Okay. Thank you. And Maria Grazia, will you start?
Okay. Here we are. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Maria Grazia, and I work in Beato Pellegrino Library, which is the main humanistic library in Padua University. With me today there is Lorisa. And so let's start this presentation for the Laura Lancieri Eritrea collection. The Laura Lancieri collection is a collection of photographs of colonial Eritrea, which was donated to the History Library of the University of Padua in 2019 by Mrs. Lancieri. Mrs. Lancieri had found this album of photographs about colonial Eritrea in her basement at home, and so she decided to donate the album to the library. We immediately realized that it was an interesting collection, and we can say it is a typical example of a colonial photographic album. And so we can also consider it as a relevant historical source. The album that you can see is a simple ring-bound notebook serving as a homemade housing solution for a total of 356 gelatin silver print pictures. In this album, we have 25 real photographs, 164 photographic postcards, and 167 contact prints. The photos date from the 1930s to the 1960s. The origin of this photo collection is related to the history of Laura Lancieri's family. In fact, Miss Laura's grandparents lived for many years in Eritrea, and they had a military equipment store in Asmara, the capital. And also, Miss Laura's parents lived in Asmara during the early 1950s. Eritrea had been an Italian colony officially since 1819, and then it became part of the Italian East Africa, together with Somalia and Ethiopia, in 1936 during the fascist period. In those years, there was a very large community of Italian, particularly in the area of Asmara. The pictures are stored in groups of 4 inside the plastic sleeves, and the contact prints, which are smaller in size, are stored 12 in each sheet. Upon opening the album, the excellent preservation state of the materials is immediately clear. The subjects are varied and compelling. We have views of the major cities such as Asmara and Massawa. Alongside the smaller villages, we have the major colonial infrastructure, including roads, railways, bridges, and also the examples of local flora and fauna. We have also pictures of the indigenous and the local communities. For example, this postcard features a photograph of Bilene girls, that is members of the Bilen ethnic group, a community of farmers in Eritrea. Only 9 postcards were actually used as real postcards. They were sent from Eritrea to Italy, so we can see the writings, the stamps, the postmarks, the addresses, and so on. So this remarkable collection was the starting point for a digitization project on the University Library System's PHAIDRA platform, and it was developed across 6 stages. First of all, there was a census, then we established a project profile, and the photographs were digitized. Then the metadata were created and recorded in a spreadsheet, and the collection, both the spreadsheet and the associated images, were bulk uploaded to PHAIDRA via a dedicated script. The digital collection was then published on the platform and promoted through events organized by the University of Padua Library System. This is the collection webpage with a detailed description, a detailed presentation available both in Italian and in English. And in the following slide, we present a sample photo postcard alongside its metadata record. Each item in the collection is described using PHAIDRA's metadata schema, which includes both information found directly on the photographs and any additional data retrieved from external sources. The metadata field includes all the details. Okay. I'm turning to English. Okay, we have the title, the description, people, date, location, time, format, subject, the sources, rights, and the contact institution. Then we have the identifiers. And then we have the following relationships. So the membership of each photograph in the Lanzieri collection, the front and the back relationship between the 2 sides of the same photograph, and a generic relationship linking 2 or more photographs to one another. For example, we have another photo with the same subject, the same building. So I'm going back to the presentation, and I let Lorisa speak.
Okay, thank you, Maria Grazia. And I carry on with the subject terms. The keywords include terms common to the entire collection, such as Italian East Africa, colonialism, colonial Italy, Eritrea, and terms specific to each individual item. The latter were assigned by referring to the classification which come from a report of the Ministry of Italian Africa dated 1950. You can see on the right a page of this report with the classification. This is the result of the collection's classification with entries listed in descending order. The entries have been entered into the subject field in PHAIDRA. So you can see views of towns or villages, customs and traditions, ethnic groups, infrastructures, fauna, economic and commercial activities, religion, archaeology, buildings, flora, landscapes, agriculture. In the following slide, we present a series of images, one for each classification. Views of towns or villages. Here we have views of Asmara, and the arrow in the lower left corner indicates Recupito Palace. You can see the arrow there. The residence of the Recupito family, the maternal family of Laura Lanzieri. Customs and traditions. Kunama women carrying loads on their shoulders. The Kunama are an African people of ancient Paleo-Sudanese origin, living today in Eritrea, Sudan, and Ethiopia. Ethnic groups. People of Eritrea. They are barrier warriors. Infrastructures. The Massawa-Asmara Railway was built during the period of Italian colonialism. The image shows a Fiat-built railcar known in Italia as Littorina. The Littorina is a type of light diesel railcar developed by Fiat in the 1930s. Which enabled a drastic reduction in journey times compared to steam trains. Fauna, a warthog. Economic and commercial activities. The covered market in Massawa. Religion, the Great Mosque of Asmara. The mosque was built in 1938 on the orders of Benito Mussolini, with the aim of impressing the local Muslim population, which at the time accounted for around 30% of the residents. Archaeology, rock paintings depicting antelopes. Buildings. A building with the word cabaret on the top, in Massawa. Flora. A sycamore tree. Landscapes. Mountain landscape and vegetation in Eritrea. And agriculture. Animal-powered watermill in Elaberette. Now we turn to the photographers and publishers. 11 photographers and publishers have been identified for 133 photographs, corresponding to 37% of the collection. For each of them, a record was compiled containing all the information retrieved from available sources. The author's name, dates, and historical background on the individual or business, and so on. The photographers and publishers have been added to the Wikidata collaborative online database in order to increase their visibility and disseminate knowledge about them. This slide shows the Wikidata record for the publisher's Cicero. Then the Wikidata ID was recorded in the author field in PHAIDRA. Let's take the publisher Cicero as a case study. Cicero was a printing company founded in 1915 by the brothers Antonino and Francesco Cicero in Asmara, and active until 1946. Cicero's family later expanded into further ventures, including a furniture factory, a glassware, and a large bazaar on Asmara's main street. In 1947, Francesco and his wife returned to Naples, where he resumed his career as a printer. On the left, a photograph of the Cicero building in Asmara, housing the printing house, the glassware, warehouses, and residential district. An image not held in PHAIDRA, but available on external website. On the right, an advertisement of Cicero's business appeared in the 1928 yearbook of the Italian colonies. This postcard shows the government palace in Massaua. The back of the postcard indicates that it was printed by the Cicero printing house, and a detailed description of the collection is here. Maria Grazia, would you like to click? So we have the collection webpage with all information, and we can also browse the collection. And I suggest to have a look because the collection is amazing. And if you go a little down, go more. Here, click on un tratto della ferrovia. I want to show you this. Please zoom in the picture and zoom in the didascalia. This is the Asmara-Massaua Railway, and here is written a section of the railway that is at an altitude of 2,000 meters above sea level. This step in elevation makes the railway very famous for its many switchbacks, linking the mild plateau climate in Asmara to the extremely hot climate in Massaua. So we can see any other interesting picture, but I finish here, and thank you for your attention, and feel free if you have questions. Feel free to ask.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's a really impressive collection of pictures. Maybe you can paste the link to the collection in the chat. That would be easy for people. Yeah, awesome. What a lot of topics we covered today. That was awesome. So we've got 4 minutes left, which I think is outstanding. Does anybody have a specific question, on the PHAIDRA or on OER or on this collection? Don't be shy and go ahead. If you don't have any questions, also okay. You can also go to the forum if you think of any questions later on. Yeah, thanks for the link.
Thank you.
All right. So I think we kind of had it for today. If there's no specific question, what we'll do is post an abstract of this chat on the forum. And if you have any questions or remarks there, then please go ahead. With Claudia, I'm also hoping to kind of engage in the OER category on the community platform. And I'm looking forward to seeing you at the next Community Call. I think Eva already pasted the link earlier on in the chat. So thanks everybody for being here, for being such an awesome audience and such an awesome bunch of presenters. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.